Have you ever heard financial terms or concepts and thought, this doesn't make sense? Well, you're in luck. Welcome to Make It Make Sense, the podcast powered by Acclaim Federal Credit Union, where we break down the world of financial literacy. At Acclaim, our goal is to connect you to financial wellness, and this podcast is here to lead the way. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your financial skills, we've got you covered. Let's make it make sense together. Here's your host, Christy Smith.
Welcome to Make It Make Sense, where we attempt to make sense of financial concepts. This month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so we thought it would be a great time to get a cybersecurity expert on. And so our guest today will be Tommy Riggins. Tommy is the Managed Services Account Executive for ZTS, a division of Zirrus, where he helps businesses maximize their IT operations through innovative solutions. A strong advocate for credit unions, Tommy is passionate about empowering organizations with technology that supports their mission and growth. Based in Winston-Salem, he brings a community-first mindset to every partnership. When Tommy is not helping clients, he's passionately volunteering for Triad Honor Flight and his home church in High Point. Tommy, welcome to our podcast.
Christy, thanks so much. I'm excited about being part of your program here with your podcast. You and I haven't had a chance to talk about some of my passion when it wraps around cybersecurity and making sure we keep folks safe. You know, one of the things, I grew up in a small family business, and I know how hard business owners work to generate revenue, to pay employees, to keep things going. So when cybersecurity comes up and he asked me to do this, I was really excited because the more I can do to help our community stay safe, it keeps me really excited because I know how hard it is for folks to earn a living, and then to have threat actors steal it from you is just very, very bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of those things you don't think about until it happens. For credit unions, we have to think about it all the time because it's so important for us to keep our members safe.
Hey, and speaking of your podcast, I understand that Acclaim just received an award, is going to receive an award for your podcast.
We did. We won an award for financial education. So we're very proud of that. And so this has been a labor of love for us. So a little bit more time consuming than we thought it would be, but that's okay. We love make it make sense and trying to make sense of different financial concepts, and then, cybersecurity lens to that as well.
I brought up this podcast, and one of my coworkers is a regular of your podcast, so they were excited to hear that we're doing this with you. So,
oh, nice, thank you. Yeah. We need all listeners we can get. So I'm going to jump right in. Why is cybersecurity especially important for credit unions and our members?
Well, let me start with October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It was actually something started in 2004. It was a joint venture between Homeland Security and the National Cybersecurity Alliance. And so now it's an official event sponsored by the President and Congress. So it's a month that's set aside every year to put focus on cybersecurity. And why is it such a big thing? We have become, in many ways, we've become a little bit numb to spam and robocalls and all the different things. And so what can happen is you can sometimes forget the awareness. And so the idea around Cybersecurity Month and around ongoing coaching and teaching is keeping that top of mind, so that you have a cybersecurity mentality. It becomes a way of thinking in your day-to-day walk. Businesses are obviously a target for threat actors looking for ways to infiltrate, steal data, steal revenue. But the other thing that we've really got to keep top of mind is people on their day-to-day activities. They get into a rush, they get into a quick habit, they see something on their phone or see something in email. Next thing you know, they've clicked on something and bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
We all have data that's very important. obviously credit unions have very personal data for your members and for our members. And then individuals, folks just, doing their day-to-day things on their phone. I mean, right now we're doing everything on our phones. We're doing banking, we're doing communication, we're keeping all kinds of information. So it's a day and a time where you've really got to keep it top of mind.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is top of mind here at Acclaim. And I know it probably is for, a lot of our members. I am constantly having to worry about my parents as they get older and making sure that they don't click on some of those things or they don't respond to things as they, come through text and things like that. So I know it's important for a lot of people, and not only just parents, but kids. If you have younger kids, making sure that they don't click on things too. So it is very important. What are some of the most common cyber threats facing credit union members today?
So the thing that we're seeing, and it's a continuation of what's been going on for a while, is it's the email that appears to be something that's legitimate. Graphic design, AI, so many tools have become very ubiquitous where just anybody can create an email that looks legit. And a lot of times these emails have some type of sense of urgency. And so busy moms, busy dads, busy whoever, they look down, they see an email and it's got some type of urgent request. They click on something. Next thing you know, they've downloaded some type of malware, something that's going to steal some of their information. So email is constant, top of mind. The thing that's really that's really ramped up is the text messages. And so, and now these text messages are bombarding our email, our cell phones, and they've got links on them. And there again, a quick lack of thinking, getting into a rush. Next thing you know, you clicked on a link that could create some real bad trouble for you. So that's definitely an issue. Something else that we're starting to see as well is as large companies have data breaches, or as other folks have organizations have breaches or whatnot, those emails and all that information is harvested. It's sold on a dark web. And the next thing you know, you've got threat actors using that information as a way to try to target other individuals. So email, text messages, and now just plain old phone calls coming in and using social engineering in order to try to trick somebody into giving up some personal information. Again, the thought process is anytime somebody's asking you for something that's personal, you need to stop and think about who that person is, why they're asking for it, and is it something that you really need to divulge and give to them?
Yeah, I think that you hit on that is stop and think. And I think that's anytime you feel pressured to do something, I think that you should stop and reflect on, what is the urgency and, why do you have to act so quickly? Because usually those are the ones that are a threat. So no, I agree with you. What are 3 things that members can do right now to protect their accounts and their devices?
Great question. It's something I get asked on a regular basis whenever I'm out and about talking to folks. Good password processes are extremely important. The days of doing 6 or 8 characters for a password those are almost over. We've got to really press folks into a 12 character or even a 24 character password. And I hear a lot of pushback is like, golly, Tommy, I got all these passwords I got to keep up with. There's password managers that can help with those types of things. But again, use some type of phrase, use a song, use something that's going to mean something to you, and then make that string of characters. I heard some statistics the other day of, how easy it is to crack an 8 character password as opposed to a 12 or 24. The more characters you add in there, the greater the better you're going to have of that not being able to, the threat actors being able to compromise it. So good password hygiene, or good password processes. The other thing is keeping any application you use, whether it's for work, whether it's your members, whether it's home, keeping those up to date. All the different suppliers that create some type of software, there's constantly going through some type of revision. And so they'll send out updates. Don't skip those updates. You got to do them because a lot of times there's some type of security protocol that's been addressed. There's 0-day fixes or what have you, but there's things in there that you need to keep updated. So keeping your email, your passwords good, keeping your software up to date, but then also just being mindful of the things that you need to do on a daily basis as far as protecting your information. I tell people all the time, you got to think about it. It's kind of like your house. You know, when you leave your house, you're going to lock your doors, right? You park your car in the shopping mall. Or when you go to the grocery store, you're going to lock your doors. You got to have that same kind of mentality with your personal data. So those are the things that will keep people safe. It's a good start.
Yeah. So what I've been trying to do is use hymnals for my password.
Hymnals. Oh, that's a good one.
So I can sing it and I can do a hymnal per program. So I'm like, okay, this one's Amazing Grace. But and so I can switch it up. And so I've used Bible verses, you know. So I mean, you can use various things that mean something to you for your password. So I agree, especially when they get longer. You have to get creative. So that's
probably the last thing that I'd point out too, Christy, is you just got to be skeptical of every single thing that you see, whether it's an email, a text message, a phone call. You've got to constantly be on situational awareness. You know, when I was in scouting, one of the things I constantly, drummed into my kids is you got to be aware of your surroundings. It's the same thing now as adults. We've got to be aware of what's going on in front of us, whether it's our laptop, our desktop, or our cell phones. We got to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And you're exactly right. Sometimes we get in the day-to-day and we don't remember that those things are very important.
That's right.
How does ZTS help organizations like credit unions stay secure?
I appreciate you asking that question. And I've been in the managed IT industry for a long time, and I've seen things evolve from, back in the day, it used to be you had to have a good firewall. And then you had to have a good firewall and you had to have good antivirus. And, maybe to be, some good spam filtering. It's evolved much more than that. And I can tell you the very first question I ask any new potential client, or whenever I'm talking to a legacy client that we're looking at helping be more secure, is first and foremost, are you doing some type of security awareness training for your users? Again, it goes back to something I mentioned at the beginning of our podcast. It's got to stay top of mind. Cybersecurity has to become almost a cultural thing within an organization. It's no different than having good work processes, good HR, good, all those different things that keeps a business functioning in a good way. You've got to have that same mentality when it comes to cybersecurity. So again, one of the first things I preach about, and I know some people get tired of me hearing about it, is you got to do some type of security awareness training. So that's one of the first things we push out, is really pushing that out. Your weakest link is always going to be the employee. You can spend a lot of money on different things, but your weakest link is always going to be that employee that gets in a rush, wasn't paying attention, clicked on the wrong thing. But at ZTS, one of the first things that we did is we took some time to look in a marketplace and evaluate what is best in class. We didn't want to go with the cheapest. We didn't want to go with the brand new shiny product that's in the marketplace. What we did is we found industry best solutions. And the first thing that was a benefit for us, because we have 150 users internally. So ZTS is owned by Zirrus, which is a co-op, which is exciting. I get to think about some of my credit union days.
I love co-ops.
So do I. So one of the things we do is any type of processes or procedures or security we use, we test those out with our user base of 150 users in-house. So for us, cybersecurity is top of mind. The break fix and all those kinds of things, when it comes to IT, anybody can do those things, but we want to be that trusted advisor and really make cybersecurity top of mind and help the organizations make it a cultural thing within their organization. So it's always being thought about and talked about.
Yeah. And I think personal touch too. So,
Yep.
I think that is so important, is the personal touch from any vendor or any company. Sometimes cybersecurity and some of the terminology can seem overwhelming to the layman, the layperson. And so I think just breaking those things down is really important. So I know you guys are proud of what you're building for sure.
Good deal. Thank you. Yeah.
What should someone do if they think that they've been a victim of a cyber scam? I think that's real important.
No, super great question. Probably the very first thing that you want to do is you want to call your financial institution. Hopefully they're calling a claim. And if you're not a member, you need to be, or you need to be a member of a credit union, but that should be the very first person you call. Once you've done that, then hopefully you've got your account information, your critical financial data that you know where it is, what's going on. You get those things locked down and get some eyes on that. The second thing you may want to do is report, depending on the severity of the issue, perhaps report that to, if you work in an office environment, you want to report that to somebody. If you're just an individual user, you may want to report that to some law enforcement agency, make them aware that you may have been a victim of a cyber crime. And then the third thing that you want to do is you really want to evaluate. That's definitely a time that you want to evaluate and look at, okay, where else could I've had some exposure? Maybe that's the time where you want to immediately change passwords on other applications. See, the bad thing about it, that a lot of people will reuse passwords over and over and over for different applications. They may have an issue where they get compromised at one spot. The next thing you know, they may have been compromised somewhere else. But quick notification. And I'll tell you, Christy, years ago, I was on my son's band booster, and one of the ladies there, she had a terrible situation. She fell for a really bad crime, and she was so embarrassed about it, she didn't want to tell anybody. And so I talked with her. I said, "Look, you got to get it out there. You got to talk to the authorities. Make sure that you get this recorded. Share the information, because every time you do that, that helps them stop it from happening to somebody else. Don't be embarrassed. Anyone can make a mistake, and especially with technology. And you mentioned it earlier. Our older generation, they're just not as savvy. Some of them are super savvy. I've seen some older folks really be able to, do some things with technology. But again, a lot of times what will happen is they'll slip up, they'll do something, and then they're embarrassed about it.
Well, and I find that they're such a trusting generation. And so they just don't, they don't think anyone has nefarious actions or means. They just think that everyone's legitimately, trying to help them or that whatever it may be, which is a great thing to be so trusting. But in this day and time, it can also be hurtful. So that's what we find usually is it's someone they really either they think they're helping someone, and that's how they get involved. Or loneliness can play a part in that too. With, some elderly people, someone gives them time, and then all of a sudden it doesn't turn well. So we've seen a lot of that, and you're exactly right. If you come to us, we will help you. We will walk you through the process. We have even walked our members and had the law enforcement come here, meet with them, and then we've even, helped them walk through that entire process. So if you're an Acclaim member, you can definitely come here and we'll help you with that. But I would dare to say that any credit union would probably do the same and help you with that process.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of credit unions.
Community-minded.
Yes, for sure. How do you see cybersecurity evolving over the next few years? This is one of the things I think about a lot, because I think AI has just taken off. and just so quickly. And I am even amazed, just hearing about it. And then all of a sudden, people are using it for Google. I mean, ChatGPT is almost like Google for certain people now. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, I find that it's taken off so quickly. Like, it's almost like, how do you keep up? It's just one thing after the other. And so how do you see that evolving?
In many ways, those of us that are in the industry, it can be very concerning. We see and hear a lot of things that folks outside of our industry or outside of tech just don't hear about. So we definitely hear things that concern us, and that's why the real folks in our industry are constantly tooting the horn about cybersecurity, because we know how bad it can be. Mm-hmm. But it's only going to get worse. I can share with you a situation that happened here not long ago. We had a client that had an issue. Fortunately, because we have some fantastic solutions in place, we were able to lock some stuff down. But when we started doing some investigation, we saw where this particular threat actor was using some very common off-the-shelf software to do the things that he was doing. He was using Windows BitLocker in order to encrypt some of the data on this client's device, which has got a funny name. It's called Living Off the Land. But what's happening is, because of the prevalence of information, AI, and just the cool factor that people think cybersecurity and hackers have, you've got inexperienced people that are getting very experienced by using AI and some other tools. And so those things are very ubiquitous out there. So if somebody decided they suddenly wanted to be a bad guy, a threat actor, with a little bit of research, they could figure it out. So the bad guy population is getting worse because there's more tools out there, which means that we've got to be even more vigilant. But to your point, yeah, the tools, the ability, the things that are out there are going to become more prevalent and more available to the threat actors. And again, what we got to do is we got to partner up with folks that's got best in class solutions. We got to be vigilant. And I missed one other key point a few minutes ago, and it reminded me when we were talking about this particular issue that where we were able to protect somebody. Multi-factor authentication should be across the board on every single thing you do, whether it's Facebook, Amazon, whatever. Folks should institute multi-factor authentication across all of their applications that they use. So is it the future of cyber? Is it scary? Yes. But fortunately, the tech guys are trying to figure out the best way possible to protect us. So talk to your trusted advisor, talk to the folks that you work with, and make sure you got best in class to protect yourself.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And you're right, it is scary because we think about, what could happen and how in the world are we going to keep up with them, because it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and things that they're so smart. I wish I had that, or I wish they would use that for good, because, it's amazing what they could actually do. And
yep. I tell people all the time, as hard as you are working to create a business or just an employee, as hard as you are working to create income for your family, there's somebody out there working just as hard to take it away from you. And so that's why we got to constantly be vigilant.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. What resources or events are available during Cybersecurity Awareness Month that members could check out?
Well, I'll tell you, the best one for individuals to use is CISA. It's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and you can just Google CISA. That will get you to a government website that provides a ton of information. They're part of the sponsors of and part of the government organization that's really pressing Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And on that website, there's a ton of good information. I use it. I try to read it as much as possible because the messages that they're pushing out, we want to be, lockstep using the same message, the same ideas, which is a real good place to be. Obviously, your credit unions need to tie into the NCUA. There's a lot of things there. And the other thing I would say is, whether you're an individual, or working in a company or whatnot, a lot of your civic organizations, and just like you doing this with this podcast, there's a lot of information out there. So when you can participate, partake of it, try to grab the key points of it, lock it away, and try to apply as quickly as possible to your daily routines.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I am glad we have Cybersecurity Awareness Month, because it gives us an opportunity to really talk about it and talk about these things. At Acclaim, we talk about them every month because we have to. And so we do training every single month because we have to do the best we could do. We have to be as proactive as we can. And so that I know that's a really good posture to have. But thank you so much. You've given us a lot to share with our listeners, and I'm very excited about this episode. And I just appreciate your time, appreciate what you guys are doing at ZTS, and helping companies and credit unions and all different types of industries stay safer. So we appreciate you.
Good deal. Christy, thank you. Congratulations again on your podcast award. And I do want to give you another shout out. I know you're opening up a branch in Stoneville. Super excited about that. You're going to be able, I know you're bringing some great resources to that community, and I know a lot of folks are excited about it. So congrats to you as well. And good luck on your podcast.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And we are super excited about our branch in Stoneville. Hopefully we'll open in January of 26.
All right.
And I have fell in love with that community. They are just fantastic. And we've got to spend a little time with them. And so I can't wait to spend more time with them and grow our first branch. I always say second branch, which makes it think we have 3, but it's our first branch. So other than the one on Battleground. But Tommy, again, thank you. And we appreciate you. And we will have you on as a guest maybe next year during Cybersecurity Awareness.
That'd be great, Christy. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. That was another great episode of Make It Make Sense. Podcast production services provided by Pro Podcast Solutions. We appreciate you. Have a good day. Until next time.
Thank you for listening. Please visit us at acclaimfcu.org for more valuable resources. Remember to click the follow or subscribe button to make sure you don't miss future episodes.